Hello everyone and welcome back to Mossy Pine Ranch at Elmcreek. We have reached episode number 47 and are now in April. And a rather wet April it is. We've got some April showers yet again. The wet weather always seems to plague us in April for April showers. But nonetheless, the jobs on the ranch need working on. And yep, since last time I was busy liming up the rest of the fields, which we ploughed up and began to lime last time, but we ran out of time, so yeah, I had to carry that on between last session and this one. And also since last session, you'll notice that we've got a few more of the silo pits dotted around the farmyard, and there's one behind the fermenting silo there. And the reason for that is I've been busy ferrying Digestate over from the BGA in this lovely large tanker to get ourselves ready for Digestate spreading all of our fields to give them the primary level of fertiliser. And I'm driving up to this section of the ranch because just up here I've put yet another bunker for our Digestate, and I've tried to dot them around the ranch in a sensible fashion so that we can come and collect as and when we're working on various different fields. So let's open up the covers and we can get this load unloaded into this silo. There we go, that's unloaded quite nicely, so we can get the covers back on. And I think we've got 3 of those down by the farmyard, one up on that corner, one behind the fermenting silo, so that's 5, and then there's the one that we placed next to the older animal area over there. So we've actually got 6 of those little slurry digestate silos, and they each house around 100,000 litres, and I think all but one of them is full. So yeah, we've got about 560-70 odd thousand litres of digestate dotted around the ranch for us to use, and that's what we're going to be focused on today. We've got to get all of these fields spread. Then we want to try and drill if we can, because we need to drill some oats and some soybeans, and also maybe some sorghum to benefit our animals, and then the soybean is going to be a cash crop. Right, that's the tanker dropped off, so we can just park that there, and we can go jump in the case, because we need to take the Zunhammer spreader back. Yeah, that's the old slurry digestate spreader that we had. And last season, when we tried to buy some hoses for it, that didn't quite go to plan. The hoses were leaking all over the place. So we thought, never mind that, we will wait till next season and we will get a bigger spreader. So that's exactly what we're going to do, once I can find where the case is. Aha, here is the case, because it parked up the lovely new solid spreader that we bought for our lime, the Bredel. So let's go grab the Zunhammer, and we can take that back to the dealership and purchase our new slurry spreader. Here she is, the Zunhammer, and oh, it's got a little bit of literage in it, so I'll see if we can drop this off somewhere. I think we've got space in this one up top to drop off this 3,000 litres odd of digestate. There we go, managed to find the sweet spot. Fantastic. So we didn't want to waste any of that. But let's get the Zunhammer to the dealership and we can get it sold. What a miserable day it is today at Elmcreek. Yep, fortunately we're at the dealership now, so we can get the Zunhammer all sold. And yeah, I wonder what sort of price we're going to get for it. So 37,575, that sounds pretty good. And the new slurry spreader that we are going to buy, I've had a fair amount of research to look into. I did install quite a number of mods, the Samson mods, and of course the Zunhammer was a mod as well, but I really did find sort of varying price, size and capability of different slurry spreaders. And the best one I could actually find, really, in terms of value for money, capacity and the size of the hoses it will take, is actually the Vandals, I think that's it, Vandals, I think that's how you pronounce it, Premium Integral 30,000. And it's called the 30,000 because it takes 30,000 litres of slurry or digestate. Of course, we're only going to be using digestate, and is 161,000. Now, compared to the Garant, which does 32,000, that's 189,000, so quite a tad more in terms of price. And then the largest, which is 34,500, is the Samsung PG235, which is 202,000. Now this can go up to the whopping 36 meter hose, but I think that's a bit too big and also much more expensive than the plain 30 meter Bomec hoses, which luckily the Venhoose is compatible with. So yeah, we are going to bet with the Venhoose as being the best slurry spreader. So we will go ahead and buy that. I think all we need to do is add the number plate. There we go, so we can buy that for $161,000, quite expensive. And as a combination, we can get the Bomec 30 meter Multi 4XL, which is 104,000. So here they are, the slurry spreader and the hoses. And also another reason for getting this slurry spreader is it only takes 275 horsepower to run. So that leaves the case in with a chance of pulling it. Otherwise I probably would have had to have used the IMT, and that's quite big and articulating, so yeah, ideally we want to use the smaller, more mobile case. Well, let's try and get a good angle for these hoses. There we go, that's all attached and looks pretty good if you ask me. Doesn't look too big for the case, although if we start to struggle with traction I might have to add some double wheels to the case because it will be shifting 30,000 litres, and if it is really too heavy and unrealistic we will of course have to use the IMT. We'll grab some fuel whilst we're here. Always a nice sight approaching the ranch, even more so when we've got nice new equipment. Now here we are back at the yard, and we can fill up from the furthest away little slurry bit. So let's fill that up. It should take 30,000 litres. I'm hoping when we pull away the case isn't going to wheelie because it's too heavy. There we go, 30,000. And I think the case is pulling away, so that's alright. To be fair, I do need to give it a service, so let's make sure we give it the best possible chance. Right, that's serviced, so yeah, let's give it a good old shot at trying to pull and manage this slurry spreader. Should get easier as it empties. Yeah, it's not doing too bad a job. So let's beacon off and we can pull into the field, get this unfolded, which will be interesting. We'll have to start this end because I don't think we've got the clearance on the other end, that's for sure. Alright, and the hoses still have a little bit to go yet, so wow, this is big. I didn't think 30 meters was quite going to be this range, and I think this increased our width and also capacity by a third, so that's pretty good. So we should be able to lower this and switch on the spreading. Oh, okay, it is spreading already. I missed a little patch there because I think I turned it off. I think it stops when you aren't moving forward. But look at that. We are digestate spreading using a fantastic new slurry spreader and its lovely 30 meter boom of hoses. And that really is making the job much more efficient. I'm hoping we can make it round a headland on a tank, but that might be wishful thinking. But on that note, wish me luck, and we'll get all this field digestate spread. Well, that is the big field done, and we're all refueled for doing the next set of fields. So I'm going to start down the bottom here with field 4, 5, 6 and 7, I think, for this second section, and then we will move up to the top of field 8 and 9, which are our newest fields. Now, I'm not going to lie, that was a little bit tricky. I think that sometimes bigger equipment doesn't always mean it's easier to work with, because it's sometimes harder to gauge the width, and I guess there's less tolerance for you to sort of get a line wrong, because yeah, the more you mess up a turn, I guess the wider the span for you to make a mistake. But yeah, nonetheless, we got that covered probably 98%, so pretty happy with that. So let's get on to spreading this. Now what's nice is when I raise and lower, it does stop spreading the slurry. As you can see there, the bigger equipment, as I was turning there, the angle and lines sway quite largely based on where I'm turning. So yeah, as I mentioned, bigger equipment sometimes doesn't mean it's an easier job. It's less ground we've got to cover, or it covers more ground, but it also comes with added complexity of more room for error, let's say. But yeah, not too bad a job. I think I'm maybe being self-critical of myself, but yeah, I do like to get things looking nice and neat where I can. And yeah, I'll start with this second line of this headland. And yeah, the widths can be quite tricky to gauge. Sometimes if I turn the slightest bit, we're over the width of the field, and then if I turn to correct it, we're under the width. So yeah, much less tolerance. But nonetheless, we're getting this all covered over, which is really nice, and adding the primary level of fertilizer to all these fields. And once we're done with that, it will be over to drilling. And I've got some further plans for bigger equipment. We should probably not drive into that grass field. So yeah, we've got some plans for some bigger drilling equipment, which I will show you when we get to the dealership, which will be exciting to use. The ranch will be growing once again in terms of equipment, which is nice. And yet, probably worth mentioning that I was going to mow the grass fields today, because they are both ready to harvest. However, it's been raining this morning, and we've also got to focus on getting our crops in, so that really is the priority. And we'll probably have to make grass mowing the secondary priority, either at the end of the game day or in the next session in May. So yeah, that's the plan. But I'm going to get all of this digestate spread. Nice funky turn there for that little blob corner of the field. Yeah, not looking too shabby. So I look forward to getting this all done so we can get on with drilling. So leave that with me, and I'll see you when we're finished. But hey, that is the final stretch. And we can raise up and fold away. Now, that did seem to work a lot more efficiently in this part of the field, maybe because I was used to it, although I've just taken down another signpost. Oh dear, the costs of signpost is going to be going up on the ranch, that's for sure. But at least the costs of how much time we invest in digestate spreading has gone down, thanks to our lovely new slurry spreader, which has got a good 30 metre width and a 30,000 litre capacity. And you would have seen me running, I guess, my own version of pipes and hoses, which is just having a load of different slurry and digestate pits dotted around the ranch which we've had installed, which, yeah, seems to work for me. I guess pipes and hoses probably would have worked quite well where we've got a massive storage facility for digestate and we just run the pipes to the various different fields, but I don't know how long those pipes are. So yeah, we've done our own thing by making lots of different digestate pits which we can come and fill up from, which is pretty good. So I'm going to get this washed up and parked away, and then really we've got to quickly get on to drilling because I want to get these crops in today. We need to because of the crop calendar. So let's give this a quick wash and then we can get on. Just put the leftovers back in the pit. And I think by my count we used 2 full pits and a little bit from 2 others. So I reckon we used around 240 to 60 odd thousand litres of digestate, which is pretty good for covering all of our fields. And we've got about the same left because we had 6 pits all with around 100,000 litres in, so yeah, we've got a good more than half left. Right, that fits in there quite nicely, and we'll park the case up here as well because we need to jump in the IMT, and that's because we're going to be taking the Horsch drill back to the dealership. That's right, it was only with us for 1 season, it did a fantastic job, but it's time to invest in bigger. So yeah, we'll be taking that back and buying something even bigger. In the IMT, and we've got the Horsch, and we need to make sure we empty the seed and fertiliser out of this, so let's do that. Here we are at the dealership. Now I am sad to be letting go of the Horsch. It's a fantastic seed drill, it's a direct drill, and it can also fertilise as well. So it really is versatile, but it is just not quite big enough for our needs at the ranch. And we want to be simplifying jobs, making them shorter and quicker. So yep. So we can sell for $74,066. And for seed drills, I think you're going to like this. We are going for full ranch mode, and we are going to be getting the Hatzenbichler Terminator, which is a rather large 18-metre seed drill, so large that it needs this trailer to follow behind it with seed and fertiliser. So yeah, a rather expensive outlay, and it takes 450 horsepower to run it, so luckily we've got 500 horsepower with the IMT. But let's take a look at the Terminator TH18, and I think I've got that pronounced right, Hatzenbichler. It's a Austrian brand, but I think they have used equipment in the States, so that's pretty good. Not much to select from, so I think we're just going to go ahead and buy this for $213,000. And as mentioned, it needs to be accompanied by the TH1400, which is the trailer that carries the fertilizer and seed. Again, not much to customize here, so we're just going to buy this for $99,000. So in terms of order, I think it goes the trailer first and then the drill behind it. So let's do that. There we go. We're all hitched up with this seed drill road train. But I quite like that it matches the IMT colours. So yeah, what a beast. Let's get this back to the ranch and we can have at it. Wide load coming through. This thing spans 2 full lanes. That's going to be interesting in the single roads towards the ranch. Alright, managed to make it this far. And always nice to see the ranch on the horizon as we pull around. And it's so nice seeing how far the ranch has come. And now we've got quite big fields. We need big equipment to make sure we have speedy transitions of our seasons and our crops. So yeah, pretty fantastic. This is going to be an interesting fit, but I think it's just about made it. So here we are at the seed and fertilizer, and what's nice is the little pickup unfolds to deposit what's here into the various bins. So I think we should be able to start filling with seed first of all. And there we go, it's automatically switched to the rear one for the fertilizer. Oh, scrap that, it was the other way around. Fertilizer first and then seed. There we go, we can top it up with seed right to the top. Whoa, 10,000 litres, that's pretty beastie. And we need to back up somehow to get the fertilizer in there. So what I'm going to do is deploy my brain and unhitch the actual drill part of the seed drill so we can get a bit closer and get the fertilizer in. There we go, that's full, so we should be able to completely fold up this wonderful little ramp here that takes the seed and fertilizer up to the chambers at the back. So that is really funky. Right, let's get the drill aligned again and we can get set up for our first field, which is going to be the biggest, field number 10. And I think this is going to be our cash crop, soybeans. Right, so I want to be making sure I'm heading a ways in, just so not tempting fate by being too close to anything else. So let's get unfolded, this absolute beast, the Terminator. And we should hopefully make light work of all this drilling. And we want to select soybeans for this field. And then I think in the other fields we are going to put oats for our horses and then sorghum for our chickens, which will also benefit the horses. So yeah, we can put oats in, we can put soybeans in, and we can put sorghum in all today, which is really, really handy. So let's just line up a little bit. It's hard with this sort of dollied trailer. But yeah, we will do our very best. So let's switch on, lower away, and we should be direct drilling and fertilizing our lovely soybean with our fantastic new seed drill. And it's fair to say the IMT is handling this like an absolute beast. Now there all are lots of different varieties of large seed drills like this you can get. There's a whole seed hawker pack which is even bigger, and that's I guess intended for really large American and Canadian ranching, whereas we're sort of more of a medium-sized ranch, so I think this seed drill suits us perfectly, and I'm really pleased that I've chosen to go with this because not only is it working perfectly, but I think it suits our lovely IMT quite nicely. And yeah, there it is, chugging away. Fantastic. So you know the drill. Haha, pardon the pun. I'm going to get this all drilled in, our lovely soybeans, and then I will switch over to the other fields and see how we get on. So leave this with me and catch you when we're finished. There we go. That's this field all drilled with soybean, and wow, what a fantastic seed drill this thing is. I'm super impressed with it. I think it's done an absolutely fantastic job, and I just think that it fits the ranch and the IMT perfectly. Very chuffed. Now, I couldn't do the straightest of jobs because it seems that when we're bumbling along on a ploughed field, the IMT does rock about and throws me out of the lane. So ideally, for something this big, we'd probably need GPS, but yeah, that's not a thing on the ranch yet. We haven't used GPS, and nor are we probably going to. But yeah, future ranch, maybe there'll be GPS to help out for the jobs like this. Now, one thing I do think might help is adding some dual tyres on the IMT. So before we move on to the next field, I am just going to quickly stop by the workshop and let's get some dual tyres attached to the IMT, because that will hopefully benefit. There we go, we've got the twin wheels added there, and we've got 58% fertiliser, so we have chewed through that. My bet is that we're probably going to have enough fertiliser for the two fields that remain, because they are a little bit smaller, they're not as wide as field number 10, so we should have enough. But I'm going to go start in the top field, field 8 and 9, because that's furthest away. And in that field I think we are going to put sorghum, because sorghum is going to benefit both our horses and our chickens, and yeah, I think probably better having the slightly bigger field with sorghum, and then the bottom field can be oats just for the horses. And I think oats yields a bit better than sorghum does, so we don't need to go all the way to the top. We can start over here and get unfolded, and yeah, hopefully we might get a bit more traction with the dual wheels on the IMT. Now we want to make sure we've got sorghum selected so we're not making any hiccups, and I think I'll just straighten out because I can fix that little bit on the return headland. So let's switch on and lower away. There we go, just having to flick around the different bits, the drill and the hopper. Yep, we are away. And I don't think without precision farming on, the rate of fertiliser changes based on crop. I don't think sorghum, as an example, would take more fertiliser than the soybeans will, or than oats. Now here is going to be a test, because we didn't clear the stones out of this top part of the field because we thought that they were only small and they were just going to get rolled in. So I'm hoping that we are going to see the stones disappear. Yes, we have. Fantastic. That is a gamble paid off. I didn't want to do more stone clearing in the last session, because yeah, stone clearing to me is not an enjoyable task. So yeah, I'm glad we opted to leave them at the top, because they were just small stones and they were going to get rolled in when we come along with the drill. But here we go, the sorghum is going in, and you would have seen when I was drilling field number 10 that we sometimes have the traffic to contend with on this top road. They do like to get in our way, and yeah, they're not very friendly. They don't really help us out by reversing. Here we go, I think I can hear one. Oh, look at that! So rude. They can see that we've got absolutely monstrous equipment here, but they just want to barrel on past us. Nightmare, I tell you. But yeah, hopefully we can get this done and then we won't have to contend with those motorists much more today. So, yep, it's on to the next drilling. Sorghum in this top field, and then we will switch over to oats for the bottom field. And yeah, be nice to get these all drilled in. And then, because we've fertilised these fields with this drill, and we also laid the digestate, they should be all at their secondary level of fertiliser. So we won't have to touch these crops, apart from herbiciding, until it's harvest time, which is fantastic. So yeah, leave this with me, and I'll see you when we've got this all drilled. We made it with 15% fertilizer to go, and the job of drilling our 3 fields is done. And it's fair to say that our new purchases made light work of it all. Our fantastic new Digestate Spreader, and yeah, that really did have even a bigger width than this seed drill and covered all those fields fantastically. And then to finish it off, this Terminator has drilled soybeans, sorghum and oats in all our 3 fields. I'm so chuffed with this purchase. I actually am a little bit lost for words to say how good it is. I think this is an absolute godsend, this seed drill, and not only that, it's a really nice mod with the functioning pipe to take the seed and fertilizer in. So yeah, I am absolutely over the moon with our latest purchase for Mossy Pine Ranch, and this seed drill is really going to set us up for the future and all of the crops that we intend to do. But yeah, that is it for today. We've done what we intended. We have drilled and we have digestate spread. So if we take a little look at the map, you can see that we've got our soybean in field 10, our sorghum in 8 and 9, and our oats in 4, 5, 6 and 7. And they are looking pretty good. So they're in the first growing stage, and looking at the soil composition, they are fertilized to the secondary level, and that's thanks to our digestate and our new seed drill, which applies fertilizer as well. So yeah, that is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, that is it for today. I hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like, and if you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is I hope to see you again next time, and until then, I will catch you later. Cheers all, bye bye.